Okay, folks, welcome back to the next video in this series. As I mentioned in the previous video, I have an absolute ton of cleanup to do. And so, the very first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to create a new Unreal class and call it Badger Base Character, and I'm going to inherit from character and hit OK and clean up all of this stuff. Don't need setup input, don't need tick. Actually, do I need tick? Let me check. Do I need tick? No, I do not need tick. Okay. So that will be false, and get rid of some of this extra stuff that I don't need. Okay. So now we have a base character. So I am actually going to inherit from a Badger base character. For both of these, for my player character and my mob character. And what that's going to allow me to do now is my inventory component. This can now change to a Badger base character. Don't need that anymore, and we can just call this character. And we will do set character, a Badger base character, character in oops, there we go. That is going to be much cleaner. Now I can attach this inventory component to my player character and my mob character and any non-player characters that I make. So that'll make a big difference. My inventory. I have this equipment slot and inventory slot classes that I am going to replace. So inventory slot is easy. It's just got this one property on it. I'm going to get rid of this class completely. And instead of a class, I'm going to do a struct. Don't need this. Okay, so now that's a struct, and let's take a look at this one. This one's got a little bit more in it. We're going to copy all that. We're going to get rid of equipment slot completely. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So now that I've done that, what I can do is, I got a lot of cleanup to do here, but I don't need to create these in here at all anymore. We need to come in here, and this needs to be an array of if badger inventory slot. And then let's get rid of these for now. We'll just have the one. Okay. Now need to rework all this code. No. Equip item. Oh, right. I don't know that syntax. Let's see. This is going to be F Badger equipment slot. This is now character. Okay. Need to fix up my header for that method. There we go. And I still need to fix this. So slot item equals item. That should be correct, but it doesn't. const. Let me do, where's my code at? There we go. Actually, let me see what this looks like when I run it. See where I'm at. Okay, not surprisingly, I got all kinds of errors. Or needed a forward declaration there. Missed some code there. Missed that code. Okay. See if that does it. Okay, my editor's launched, so we need to take a look here at my player character. And see, I don't want... I need to change the way that one's working, but these inventory slots, I know I want 8 of them, and now that they're struct, I can just create 8 members, and they're there, and we're good to go. I need to figure out this primary slot. I think it needs to be a default object. So instead of this code here, I wonder if I can create a default sub-object of a struct type. I've never tried. No. Well, if I make it a pointer, let's try that. And let me copy this back now that I've changed the definition. Got more than I wanted. Yeah, it won't let me do. I wonder if it'll let me do an old school pointer. Yep. Let's go ahead and be consistent about that. Okay. I think that will fix that issue. Let me compile that. Nope, can't do a pointer. Bummer. Alright. Maybe I should just do an array. That's what I think I'm going to do. Okay, now let's take a look at, so this needs to go away. This needs to go away. These need to go back to dots. So now let me come into my items and I need to define. I haven't set this up yet. Oh no, I did. I set it up. So it's got primary and secondary slot types. So this code needs to no longer be hard coded. So let's say let's loop through the slots. And if the slot type I need to look at this item class. We have slot types. I need there we go. Okay, so we're getting the slot types. If this equipment slots dot equipment slot type is equal to item dot get slot types X and item get no, not item. This equipment slots I dot item asset is null pointer. We're gonna equip and it's gonna go into this equipment slots I, and it's gonna be item and there we go. Now that hard coding is removed. So it's going to loop through the equipment slots. Then it's going to loop through the slot types of the item. And if it finds a match, it's going to attempt to equip that item into that slot. If it doesn't find one, it's going to just drop it in our inventory. If it can. If there's no empty slots, this is going to return false and the item will just stay in the world. Okay, let's compile that. And I've got an error here. Inventory component 65. Oops, missed a semicolon. Well, don't need this anymore. And I need to wait for it to finish airing. There we go. I think that gets everything. Let's see how that does. Okay, so that compiled successfully. So now let me add an equipment slot, primary, and the bone name. I forget the bone name. What did I call you? Oh, and underscore R socket. I'm actually going to change this name to underscore R underscore socket. There we go. Let's compile that and let's run. And it still works, only now my inventory is not hard coded. Okay, so another cleanup thing I need to do is in my app folder, I'm going to create a new folder called shared. And inside of that, I'm going to do images, icons, weapons, one H blunt. Actually, I'll name it like I did the other one, so I'm consistent. One hand blunt, and I'm gonna copy this image right there, move it, and then I am do I want to move? No, I'm gonna leave the blueprint there. Wait a second. Okay. And I'm gonna make a MISC folder here. And I'm gonna bring in a spell scroll icon, and I'm gonna change this to T underscore badger underscore MISC spell scroll. There we go. I'll use that later. Don't like that there's a white background on this. This should have come in as a PNG with a, but whatever. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Okay, so I've moved that. Okay, so let's see, what else am I gonna do here for cleanup? I don't need that header file anymore. Let's take a look. These, You know what? I'm going to let's see, player character, name level. Okay, name and level. I no longer need here or here. Actually, I need to make these protected, since I will almost certainly be using them in the subclasses. Okay, let's see what else we got. We've got an ability system, an attribute set. But this attribute set, I'm assuming, even though right now they're exactly the same, I'm assuming that mob attributes are going to be different, at least for now. So I'm going to copy the ability system. And I'm going to get rid of it in the player character. Don't need that. I'm going to move the inventory. And I'm going to actually move the trajectory component as well, even though I'm not using it for mob character right now. I am assuming that I'm going to use it for NPCs later. Okay. Let me just double check. Don't need this. Don't need this. So my mob character became a lot simpler. And these can actually move to my base character. Wait a second. They were in public. Okay. So now I need to move the definition or the implementations over. So what do I got here? Ability system component. Need that one. Need to forward declare a bunch of stuff here. So I still need the character trajectory component, which must be in line. Yes, it is. Okay, I already have it showing up there, so now get rid of both of these. Actually, I'm going to need that inventory component one as well. Don't need either one of these. So I'll clean that up, tick, and set up. Actually, I'll get rid of setup player input component. And tick. Set this to false. This needs to be in here. Don't need that. Need to move that to base character. See, don't need this, need to move it. Need to include these. And get rid of that. Okay. That looks good. Possessed by can move. Okay. Okay, and then player character doesn't need that anymore. That cleaned up nicely. As did this. Don't need tick. Don't need possessed by on this one either. Actually, I do need possessed by. No, I don't, because it's on the base, so I don't need it at all. How about that? There we go. Let me compile. Let me actually stop the editor and relaunch it because that was a bunch of changes. And I've got some cleanup to do here. Whoops. I'm still gonna have some more. I just wanted to run to get rid of some of the errors in the list there. Okay. A Badger base character cannot instantiate abstract class. It's missing Oh, yes. Okay, we don't want to inherit this interface. My bad. We still want that one to be on the individual. Okay. See what that does. Okay, that built successfully, so I'm going to go ahead and launch the editor in debug mode. Okay, my editor launched, so let's see if everything still works. Run up here and click this, and it still works. Now, there's one more thing I'm going to fix. Notice you can see the mace in my hand in client 2 window, but you don't see me holding it in the client 1 window, and that is because when I initially wrote that code to spawn the item, I just spawned it on the client just to see it work. But we need to now spawn it on the server. So this code, what I'm going to need is a couple of methods. Actually, maybe just one. Let's see. So we'll create a server RPC, and we will call this void server add server equip item. This can actually be private. And we'll make this bool as well. And it'll take the same parameters. Except this needs to be an old school pointer since this is a server method. Okie dokie. So we are gonna just, in the server method, we're just gonna call this equip item. And up here, we're gonna say if has authority, if character has authority. Else so now we just got a problem. Oh, right. Oops. So now when our equip item gets called, if we're not on the server, we call our RPC, which then executes this code on the server. Okay. This may actually be a problem. But let's go ahead and compile. Now, replicated functions have to be void. That makes sense. Actually, give that a shot. One more error. Inventory component line 67. Oh, whoops. Now, one more. Yeah, I'm missing a return statement. I think this code's gonna need a little bit more cleaning. Okay. Let's see what we got. That code's not going to be right, but at least we can see the weapon spawn. Maybe. Not sure what that's all about, but there is. So I need to fix some stuff up here. Might as well go ahead and fix it now. One is this is not going to work because I'm not passing in a pointer anymore. How about let's pass in an index. And let's see, equip item. Pass an index instead of the object, and oh, whoops. And then instead of passing in the actual slot, we can just pass in the index, and then there we go. And one more spot to fix. Now there is a problem, and that is, how do I know that this actually succeeded? I don't. That's a problem. think I'm going to make that void. And come back here and make that void. And then so it should succeed because it's okay. I think that's okay. Now what's this little guy? I'm not seeing. Okay. Let me compile and run. Okay, my editor's launched. Let me run. And click and check that out. Now you see it in both places. And honestly, movement's a little wacky. Ooh. Huh. Yeah, it's not moving very well. What about my other window? Oh, this one's moving fine. He's moving fine now. Once he has the weapon, he does not move fine. Interesting. So that's broken badly. So that I will need to fix. But I'm actually really now quite close to having all of the multiplayer issues worked out. Really, all that I really want to do that I'm not already doing is when I add an item to my inventory, I want that to happen on the server. So really this whole thing here can be a server method. And then I wouldn't even need this one. Although I probably would keep it because I will probably call equip item from elsewhere. Okay. Let me try something. We'll just give it a shot. Before I end this video, we will create a function called, we will create a U function. Let's generate the code for that. Move it down here. We are going to call this add item to inventory, and up here we're just going to do actually, no. No, 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 no. The problem is, how will I know? Oh, maybe it doesn't matter. Let's see what happens. I don't know if this is going to work, but yeah, I won't know whether or not I can destroy the item. I'll have to destroy the item in here rather than in the player controller. Tell you what, let's put all this back. And get rid of this. Let's do this in the player controller. Let's see here. Right here. Okay. Let's try this on for size. Void. Okay. Generate definitions for those. Oh, of course it made them in line. Okay, so add item to inventory. Okay, and I no longer need Since this is now executing on the server, I no longer need these methods at all. Probably should have just commented these out in case this doesn't work out for me. So this needs to be an old school pointer. I always forget that. Oh, whoops, wrong. Okay, let's compile that. So theoretically now, when I add an item to the inventory, it would happen on the server. I could, if it becomes a problem later, I can refactor so that it happens in the player character in the inventory. Probably what I should do actually, but this is good enough for now. Okay, so that finished. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, nope. Okay. Yeah. Should have known better. Should have commented that code out. Okay. Let's undo all of that. What I'm gonna end up having to do is not destroy the item here. Instead, I need to destroy it from the player character, or from the inventory component. Think about that for a moment. Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. instead of destroying it here, well, yeah, okay. So let's go to inventory component. We've got add item to inventory. Oh, I'm adding the item asset currently. Yeah. Let me change that to item actor. Okay. So now we're taking in the item actor here. I'm going to take this and we are going to stick it right here. And I don't need this to return bool anymore. And now we can just destroy it in those two places. I may need to set up replication here. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive of it. Let's see. need to allow private access to this one. We are going to... Oh, I do. No. Blueprint read only. How about that? There we go. No. Oh, bummer. Okay, what did I just set to replicate? Character inventory slots. What else? Inventory equipment, that's it. Okay. And we are going to come up here. Do I replicate these? I'm not sure. Structured, okay. Is that not track? No, okay. Okay, I think we're okay. And then in my inventory component, I think this actually goes in begin play. Okay, let's see what I got. Nearly forgot, I no longer need these. So now we're just adding the item to the inventory and expecting the inventory component to destroy it, which is a little awkward, but I guess It's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, editor's launched. Cross your fingers. Click. And nope. Spawn actor. Spawn actor is having issues. I'll have to set a breakpoint, figure out what's going on there. Spawn actor. It's gonna be something, the mesh. Something's not. Something's not replicating. So I'll set a breakpoint right here and we'll wait for everything to relaunch. I can't fix it pretty quickly. I'll just go back to, well, we'll see. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we're getting the bone name. So got a good location, got a good rotation. That makes sense. That worked. Item actor class is good. Everything's good here. And yet, maybe, let's see. Not sure about this. This item actor class. We need to make sure it is marked for replication, so that should be okay. Static mesh replicated. Yes, I replicated that. Okay, it is now hours later, and I've fixed the issue, and it all comes back to one thing. And I want to show what it was so that nobody makes the same mistake as me. So in my inventory component, I previously had a property right here called character, and in my in my base character class in the constructor, right after I created the inventory component, I set the character property of it to be this, which is the current, the character. I suspect that if instead I had put that line of code in the begin play, it would have been fine. But the reality is I didn't even need that property because there's already a get owner. So instead of having character dash has authority, get owner has authority. And everywhere where I was using the character, I've replaced it with get owner, like right here and right here. So that basically fixed that issue. So now what I have, going back through everything, because I don't remember exactly where I left off, when the player controller handles the click event, right here, I call the current player character get inventory component, add item to inventory. And if we look at add item to inventory, it's checking for authority. If it has authority, meaning it's executing on the server, it adds the item to the inventory, attempts to equip it, etc. Otherwise, it calls server add item to inventory, and server add item to inventory just makes that call back to add item to inventory, and this time it'll have authority, and it'll come in here and it'll call equip item and destroy item actor. Now when it calls these, all of this logic is happening on the server, so I didn't have to create separate server methods for destroy item actor or equip item because they're already executing in the context of the server. So everything works now. Let me check my live coding here, with the exception of once I pick up the mace. Now, you know what, let me, I had some breakpoints I should probably get rid of. Once I pick up the mace, and you can see I've picked it up, and let me move, you can see it in both windows exactly like you should. So the inventory is being handled on the server, and the item is spawning on the server, the item's being destroyed on the server. Everything's happening on the server now, which is exactly how I want it. The only problem I have left is once you've equipped the mace, the movement does not work correctly. It's like I don't know, when I move left, it goes backwards. I don't know. It's moving very strangely. You can see it's definitely not right. So I have to figure that out. But I'm going to save that for the next video because this one's already an hour and a half. So, and obviously this one wasn't too exciting. There was just a ton of cleanup, but with all the cleanup and refactoring I've done, I now have everything working exactly the way I need it to in order for multiplayer to work. And um, I wasn't even hoping to get that far, so I got a lot further than I hoped I would. So I'm pretty happy about that. And the next time I'll fix whatever this movement issue is, and I guess it'll be time to start working on the UI for the inventory. Now that the inventory is properly handled on the server, and it's replicating down to the client, I can go ahead and make the UI, and everything should work as it's supposed to. So that'll be my plan for the next video. So until then, take care.